So now we will start with the properties of Laplace transform, and the first property we're going to discuss is the linearity property, which is the basic symbol property. Okay, so let's look at the proof. The statement is, if the Laplace transform of f1 of t is equal to f1 of s and the Laplace transform of f2 of t is equal to f2 of s, then Laplace transform of a f1 of t plus b f2 of t is equal to individual a f1 of s plus b f2 of s. Okay, so what this means, what this linearity property is saying is that if you take the Laplace transform of the entire input, right, it is equivalent to taking the Laplace transform of the individual parts. If you want to take the Laplace of the entire whole thing, instead of taking Laplace transform of the whole thing is equal to Laplace transform of the sum of the individual parts. Okay, sum of the Laplace transform the individual parts. That's the meaning of this proof. Okay, so this is very simple thing. So let's go find the Laplace transform of this. Okay, so we will begin that we know that the Laplace transform of a f1 of t plus b f2 of t, right, is equal to, and what is the equation for Laplace transform? It is integral from 0 to infinity. Okay, and instead of f of t we will write this, that is a f1 of t plus b f2 of t, and the rest is the same, into e raised to minus st dt. Okay, this is the equation for the Laplace transform. That is, instead of Laplace transform of f of t is equal to integral 0 to infinity f of t into e raised to minus st dt. But here instead of f of t we have a f1 of t plus b f2 of t. So that is what I will write here. Okay, now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to introduce this integral and this e raised to minus st inside the bracket. So this will now become a and b are just constants, right? They are just simply constants. So I can say that this is a into integral 0 to infinity f1 of t e raised to minus st dt plus b integral 0 to infinity f2 of t e raised to minus st dt. Okay, so here a and b are constants, that's why I can take it outside. That's why I took outside the integral. Okay, so what is integral 0 to infinity f1 of t e raised to minus st? This is nothing but f1 of s. And what is integral 0 to infinity f2 of t into e raised to minus st? That is nothing but f2 of s. So therefore this is nothing but a f1 of s plus b f2 of s. That's it. Very simple. Okay, now let's do a simple problem based on this property. Okay, just so that you will be familiarized, so we can begin doing the problems now itself. Okay, so let's do this question. That is, we will find the Laplace transform of these three equations. Okay, let's find the Laplace transform of these three problems. Okay, so the first problem is what is it? It is 4 f of t is equal to 4 plus sine 3t plus e raised to 2t. Okay, so we will find the Laplace transform of this. So what is the Laplace transform of this? You see this, what this basically means, linearity property. The reason why we are learning about this property is because you don't have to, every now and then you don't have to apply this equation, this integral e raised to minus st dt and all this whole thing. You don't have to apply it. You can directly right, if you know the Laplace transform of these basic functions, if you know the Laplace transform of some of the basic functions, all you need to do is simply apply the Laplace formula as it is. You don't have to substitute that equation. Okay, so for example over here, see so this is my first question, f of t is equal to 4 plus sine 3t plus e raised to minus e raised to 2t. So I want to find the Laplace transform of this, that is f of s or Laplace transform of f of t. Okay, there we can either write Laplace transform of f of t or you can write f of s. So Laplace transform of f of t is equal to nothing but Laplace transform of the first term plus the Laplace transform of the second term plus the Laplace transform of the third term. See, this is called as the linearity property, right? So here 4 is a constant, right? So I can take it outside. This is nothing but 4 into Laplace transform of 1 plus Laplace transform of sine 3t plus Laplace transform of e raised to 2t, right? This is the equation, and this is equal to, and what is the Laplace transform of 1? Laplace transform of 1 is this is a unilateral Laplace transform, that is, it is going from 0 to infinity. So therefore, if I say Laplace transform of 1, I actually meant it is a Laplace transform of u of t, because the value of u of t from 0 to infinity is 1, right? It's the unit step function, the value is 1 from 0 to infinity. So therefore, this is nothing but Laplace transform of 1 is nothing but 1 by s. So this is 4 by s. Okay, plus what is the Laplace transform of sine omega t? The Laplace transform of sine omega t is omega by s square plus omega square, right? So therefore, the Laplace transform of this is 3 by s square plus 9. Okay, omega by s square plus omega square. That is the equation. Now, what is the Laplace transform of this? We know that the Laplace transform of e raised to at is 1 by s minus a. Therefore, the Laplace transform of e raised to 2t is 1 by s minus 2. That's it. See, I found the Laplace transform without actually applying the formula. That is integral 0 to infinity f of t into e raised to minus st dt. If I did the same problem using a formula, then I would have taken this entire page plus the next page also. That the problem will become very long. Since I know the Laplace transform of some of the basic equations, all I have to do is simply substitute those equations, and that's it. The problem is over. You see, that is the basic fun part of Laplace transform. That is, you don't even have to apply the actual formula itself. Once if you know both the properties as well as the basic functions. Okay, so this is the first question. Now the second question. Okay, here the question is f of t is equal to t minus e raised to minus 2t plus cos h square 3t. Okay, so here, see, one thing I want to tell you before we move on to Laplace transform, right? I just want to remind all of you that it is always good if you learn or if you just remember all the basic trigonometric formulas. Okay, you see, for now, I want you all to take your book and in a separate section, maybe at the back or somewhere, a separate page, I want you all to write some of the important trigonometric formulas that you have studied when you were in school, right? Because those formulas are most likely will be required for your problems in Laplace transform, especially when something like sine square t or cos square t or sine 2t or sine 3t, if these kinds of questions, formulas come, it's always required that you need to apply the trigonometric formulas that you have studied in school. Okay, see, I have written some of the formulas just for your own benefit. I have written some of the formulas which I could recollect. So and as we come across new problems, I will be keep on updating the formulas. Okay, so for now, just remember these basic trigonometric formulas. Okay, that is cos a plus b is equal to cos a cos b minus sin a sin b. Sin a plus b is equal to sin a cos b plus cos a sin b. Cos 2 theta is equal to, it can be written in three ways. That is cos 2 theta is equal to cos square theta minus sin square theta. It is also equal to 2 cos square theta minus 1. It is also equal to 1 minus 2 sin square theta. And sin 2 theta is equal to 2 sin theta cos theta. And for hyperbolic cosine function, cos h 2 theta is equal to cos h square theta plus sin h square theta. Okay, and this is this is also equal to 2 cos h square theta minus 1. Just 2 cos square h theta minus 1, and it's also equal to 1 plus 2 sin h square theta. Okay, so you have to remember all these formulas. Okay, you always have to remember all these formulas, and if we come across any of these basic formulas, if we come across any new problems, then if we come across new formulas, we need to keep on updating those equations over here. Okay, in a separate page, so it will be very good so that you'll be able to remember all these formulas. And how to remember them is that you may not have to by heart all the equations. You can derive some equations by learning one of the technique. For example, like for this, in this case, just all you have to do is just simply remember this. Remember this equation, cos h 2 theta is equal to cos square theta minus sin square theta, because we already know that sin square theta plus cos square theta is equal to 1, right? So if we substitute that over here, we can put over here plus 1 minus 1, so it will become plus sin square theta plus cos square theta minus sin square theta minus cos square theta, and then if we can, from there you can find these two equations. So you see, in some equations, if you can remember one formula, you can derive the other formulas. In that, like that you can study. For here also, how did I get this equation? Cos 2 theta is equal to cos square theta minus sin square theta. You see, take the first equation, cos a plus b. If I substitute a and b as theta, then this will become cos 2 theta. And this will become cos theta it will become cos theta minus sin theta, which is nothing but cos square theta minus sin square theta. You see, that is how. So if you can remember one formula, you can remember the rest of the formulas. Like that, if you want, you can study, or you can by heart the equations as it is. Okay, by hearting the equations as it is will be more useful, so that you just have to apply that equation, right? Okay, so usually we the main purpose of the reason why we are applying this, because I can only express my Laplace transform only in a single cosine or sine term, right? Not in the terms of its power. Not only in terms of its power, not in the product of two. So for example, I can't find, it won't be difficult, I can't find the trigonometric formula of two different trigonometric functions. But if I know the formula, I can apply the formula and convert that into a single trigonometric equation. Then I can find its Laplace transform. Okay, so just remember to write all your new equations in your book as we proceed with new problems. Okay. So here the question is f of t is equal to t minus e raised to minus 2t plus cos h square 3t. Okay, so here I know the Laplace transform of this, right? We know the Laplace transform of t, right? It is nothing but the Laplace transform of the unit ramp signal, which is nothing but 1 by s square. So Laplace transform of t is 1 by s square, that I found out. Now what is the Laplace transform of, we all know what is Laplace transform of e raised to minus 2t, right? We all know the Laplace transform of e raised to minus 8t is 1 by s plus a. So this can be written as 1 by s plus 2, right? So I found the Laplace transform of this, and for the third one, cos h square 3t, right? So I can express cos h, we know this is cos h square 3t. So I cannot, like I said before, I cannot apply the Laplace transform directly to this thing, because I don't know the Laplace transform of this. So what I can do is I can convert this into a form which I can understand, into a form in which we can apply the Laplace transform in its basic form. All right, so using those trigonometric formula. So we already know that cos h 2 theta, right? Cos h 2 theta is here, this is cos h square. So I need to apply that equation, that is 2 cos h square theta minus 1. This is the equation. Why I'm using this equation? Because the same formula is used over here. So which means I can express this in terms of this equation, and then I can substitute that over here. So it will become very easy for me. So in that case, from here I can say that cos h square theta is equal to cos h 2 theta plus 1 by 2, right? Or this can also be written as 1 by 2 cos h 2 theta plus 1 by 2. So therefore, now I can say that the Laplace transform of cos h square 3t, right? The Laplace transform of cos h square 3t is nothing but, or log of is nothing but 1 by 2 the Laplace transform of cos h 6t, okay, plus the Laplace 1 by 2 the Laplace transform of 1. See, this is how we write. So this is nothing but 1 by 2. We all know the Laplace transform of this, right? This is the Laplace transform of cos h 6t is nothing but s by s square minus 6 square, which is 36. Okay, the equation for cos h, the Laplace transform of cos h omega t is equal to s by s square minus omega square. Here the value of omega is 6, so it will become s by s square minus 36. Okay, plus, and we all know the Laplace transform of 1, right? The Laplace transform of 1 is nothing but the Laplace transform of unit step function, because this is a unilateral Laplace transform from 0 to infinity. So therefore it is 1 by s. So this is nothing but 1 by 2s. Okay, this is nothing but 1 by 2s. So therefore now I found the Laplace transform of the first term, I found the Laplace transform of the second term, and now I found the Laplace transform of the third term. So therefore the Laplace transform of f of t is equal to 1 by s square plus 1 by s plus 2 plus and s into 2 s by 2 into s square minus 36 plus 1 by 2s. See, I found the Laplace transform. Which either of those. Okay, you don't have to write this much steps. This is just for you to understand. Okay, if you are able to find the Laplace transform of individual terms in a single step, that is also well and good. Okay, so here I just want to show you how we got Laplace transform. All right. So this is the next second. This is one equation. Now the next equation is the third question is sine square theta minus sine 2t, sorry, it is sine 2t minus cos 2t the whole square. Okay, that is the third question. Okay, so let's do this question. That is f of t is equal to sine 2t minus cos 2t the whole square. So here, you know, you can apply the Laplace transform directly to this equation, right? So what I will do is I will expand this formula. This is a minus b the whole square is a square plus b square minus 2ab. That is sine square 2t plus cos square 2t minus 2 sine 2t cos 2t. Okay, we all know what is sine square theta plus cos square theta is, right? Sine square theta minus cos square theta is 1. So this is nothing but 1 minus 2 sine 2t cos 2t. Okay, and we all know what is 2 sine a sine b, right? 2 sine a sine b is cos 2 sine a sine b is sine 2a, or 2 sine theta cos theta is sine 2 theta. So this can be written as 1 minus sine 2 theta. So this is 2t. So 2 into 2 is 4. It will become 4t. Therefore, that's it. See? So sine. So this is the reason why we need to remember the trigonometric formulas. Okay. So now I can say that Laplace transform of f of t is equal to Laplace transform of 1 minus the Laplace transform of sine 4t. And we all know that Laplace transform of 1 is nothing but 1 by s minus, and Laplace transform of sine 4t, right? That is sine. We know that Laplace transform of sine omega t is actually omega by s square plus omega square, and here it is the omega, the value of omega is 4, so it is 4 by s square plus omega square. Omega by s square plus omega square, which means here it will be 4 by s square plus 4 square. 4 square is 16. So it will be 4 by s square plus 16. So this is the answer. 1 by s minus 4 by s square plus 16. This is the Laplace transform. See, I applied all these formulas without applying the actual equation. I did not as you can see, I have now never written that equation, integral minus 0 to infinity f of t raised to minus st dt. I have never, without using any of those equations, I have found the Laplace transform by simply remembering the basic formulas as well as the properties. Okay. Property you are going to discuss is the time shifting property. Okay, so this property is very important, okay, because this property is used in almost in all the Laplace transform problems, okay, because this problem, one of the unique characteristics of this problem is of this property is that it says that any shift in the time domain, okay, any shift in the time domain is equivalent to multiplying the frequency domain with the exponential function. I repeat, any shift in the time domain is equivalent to multiplying exponential function with the frequency domain. That is what this property actually says, time shifting property. That is, if there is a shift in time, it is equivalent to multiplying the frequency transform with the exponential function. See, if the Laplace transform of f of t is equal to f of s, we all know what is the equation for f of s, right? That is, it is nothing but is equal to 0 to integral 0 to infinity f of t e raised to minus st. Okay, it is an integral 0 to infinity. Why it is 0 to infinity? Because we are in this subject, in this chapter specifically, we are using unilateral Laplace transform. Unilateral Laplace transform means we are assuming that the signal f of t signal is between 0 to infinity, right? That is the signal is completely positive valued. It's all positive. There is no negative values. That is what it means. Okay, that's why we are using unilateral Laplace transform. Okay, so here Laplace transform f of t is equal to f of s, then Laplace transform of f of t minus a, that is t minus a. The only difference between f of t and f of t minus a is f of t minus a is actually the shifted version of f of t. That is, take f of t and it's being shifted by a seconds. That is called as f of t minus a. So the Laplace transform of f of t minus a is equal to e raised to minus as into f of s. See, that is what you need to understand. That is, here the only difference is that the only thing you need to do is take the Laplace transform of the original signal, that is the one without the shifted version. Find the Laplace transform of that and then simply multiply that Laplace transform with e raised to minus as. That's it. That is what this property actually says. And look over here. That is, here is written f of t minus a, and here you got e raised to minus as. That is, if the shift is negative, then the power of the exponential function is negative. If the shift was positive, then the power of the exponential function is positive. That means the Laplace transform of f of t plus a. I repeat, the Laplace transform of f of t plus a is equal to e raised to plus as f of s. Okay, just remember that also. That is, whatever shift you see, the same sign is applied at the power of the exponential function. That's the only thing. That is the only thing you need to remember about this property. Okay, so here I'm just going to show you the proof of this property. All right, so we all know that the Laplace transform of f of t, right, is equal to integral from 0 to infinity f of t into e raised to minus st dt. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace f of t with f of t minus a. That is nothing but Laplace transform of f of t minus a. Okay, the Laplace transform of f of t minus a is nothing but integral from 0 to infinity. So simply replace f of t with f of t minus a. So it will become f of t minus a. The rest of them will be the same, e raised to minus st dt. Okay, now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to make a small modification. Okay, that's all, a very small change. That is, I'm going to say that let t minus a is equal to x. Okay, t minus a is equal to x. So if t minus a is equal to x, then in that case, when t is equal to 0, okay, when t is equal to 0, comma, x is equal to minus a, and when t is equal to infinity, x is equal to infinity. Okay, that also I did, and also I have found that dt, if I differentiate in terms of time, then dt is equal to dx. Okay, so I found that also. So in that case, I can substitute that those equations over here. So therefore the Laplace transform of f of t minus a is equal to integral from minus a to infinity f of x e raised to minus s into t. And what is t? T is here, t minus a is equal to x. So therefore t is equal to x plus a. So this is t into, so t is nothing but x plus a, or a plus x. Okay, a plus x, and instead of dt we have dx. Okay, so like I said, this is a unilateral Laplace transform, which means the value of this function is 0 when it is negative. That is, the value starts only from 0 to infinity. Okay, the value of the signal starts from x is equal to 0 to infinity, because it's a unilateral Laplace transform, right? It's a positive valued function. So therefore here it starts from minus a. So we all know that from minus a to infinity is divided into from minus a to 0 and from 0 to infinity. And we all know the signal is 0 from minus a to 0. right? For all the negative values, this function is negative, and the function actually starts from 0 up to infinity. So therefore I can say that this is, since this is a unilateral Laplace transform, I can say that this is equivalent to 0 to infinity f of x e raised to, and here instead of writing minus s into a plus x, I am going to write e raised to minus as, okay, into e raised to minus sx dx. Okay, now I'm going to take this e raised to minus as outside. So this is e raised to minus as into integral 0 to infinity f of x into e raised to minus sx dx. Okay, and we all know what is this function, right? This is integral 0 to infinity f of x e raised to minus xx dx. This is nothing but the Laplace transform f of s. You see, because as far as from the mathematics point of view, x and t are nothing but just variables. Okay, so that means if I find the Laplace transform, if I replace x with t, this has become integral from 0 to infinity f of t e raised to minus st dt, right? But here instead of t we have the letter x. That's the only difference. That's the only difference over here. So therefore this is nothing but the Laplace transform of f of s. This is nothing but Laplace transform f of s. So this is e raised to minus as into f of s. Okay, hence it's proved. So therefore what is this is, remember this equation or this technique I have explained is using the unilateral Laplace transform. Okay, that is why this from unilateral means the signal is only is having only a single positive values. All the signals, all the functions are in positive values. There is no negative values. That is why from minus a to 0 the signal is 0, and from 0 to infinity it is having a defined function. That is why from integrals, that is why this equation became from 0 to infinity. That's the only thing you need to understand. This is not written in most of the textbooks, okay? Because in most of the textbooks, when we are applying the time shifting property, they are explaining it assuming that the Laplace transform is a bilateral. The Laplace transform is bilateral, not unilateral Laplace transform. They are using bilateral. Bilateral means that the equation will be from minus infinity to plus infinity. Okay, but since in this subject we are using 0 to infinity, that is why the explanation is like this. Okay, and that's the only thing over here, and then from there you got this equation e raised to minus as into f of s. So now let's do a problem. Okay, the problem is I will let's find some Laplace transform. Okay, I will find the Laplace transform of sine t minus pi by 4. Okay, let's find the Laplace transform of this function. How to find the Laplace transform of sine t minus pi by 4. Okay, one of the most easiest way is by if you want you can substitute the value of sine a minus b and then do this problem, but there's a more easier technique that's simply by applying the time shifting property. Okay, so we all know that the Laplace transform of sine t, okay, in a few easy steps I'll show you how to find the Laplace transform. So we all know the Laplace transform of sine t is equal to, that is, we all know the Laplace transform of sine omega t, right? The Laplace transform of sine omega t is omega by s square plus omega square, but here the value of omega is 1, so it is 1 by s square plus 1. This is the Laplace transform of sine t. Okay, so therefore now I can say that the Laplace transform of sine t minus pi by 4, right? The Laplace transform of sine of f of t minus a is equal to e raised to minus as into f of s. So here the value of a is pi by 4. So which means this is nothing but all you need to do is, that is, this is Laplace transform of f of t is equal to f of s, and the Laplace transform of f of t minus a is equal to e raised to minus as into f of s. Okay, so this is what I have written over here, and this is what I'm going to write for this. That is, this is nothing but f of t minus a, that is sine t pi by 4. You see, this is the shifted version of this signal. Okay, so this is nothing but equivalent to multiplying this function f of s. This is f of s, multiplying this function with e raised to minus as, and a is pi by 4, so this is e raised to minus pi by 4s. So this is nothing but e raised to minus pi by 4s into f of s. This is what it means. F of s is 1 by s square plus 1. Therefore, the Laplace transform of sine t minus pi by 4 is equal to e raised to minus pi by 4s into 1 by s square plus 1. Or you can write it as e raised to minus pi by 4s by s square plus 1. Okay, you don't have to write all the steps. You can write in any way you want. Everyone has a unique way of writing, of doing their own problems. Okay, so I want you all to apply your own method of how to do this problem. So this is how I just want to I've written so many steps just for it so that you can understand. I can, if I want, I can simply write this entire problem in a single step. If you can do that, it's well and good. Okay, so you can save time. This I'm written so many steps just so that you will understand how we got this function. Okay, so you see, remember this, that is, anywhere, for any signal, if you see any shift in time, if you see that there is a shift in time, immediately I want you all to remember that you need to apply the time shifting property. That is where, anywhere, wherever you see the time shift, whether it will be t plus 5 or t minus 7 or t plus 2 or t minus 3, if you see any signal with a shifted version of time, that is, you see t plus 3 or t plus 2, like that, if you see any shift in time, immediately I want you all to remember that you need to apply the time shifting property. It's a must property. Okay, so now the next property is the opposite. It is the frequency shifting property. Okay, so here this actually is the opposite of time shifting property. What is time shifting property? Time shifting property means a shift in time domain results in multiplication of exponential function in the frequency domain. Now this is the opposite of that. Here in frequency shifting property, here it is the frequency that is being shifted. Okay, so therefore this property actually says that multiplication of exponential function in the time domain is equivalent to shifting in the frequency domain. That is what this property actually states. Now look at this property. If the Laplace transform of f of t is equal to f of s, then the Laplace transform of e raised to minus at f of t, that is, this is nothing but simply multiplying the original signal with e raised to minus at. This is an exponential function. This is not an exponential constant, it is an exponential function. Look, there is a t in the power. So this is an exponential function of time. This is an exponential function of time. So if we multiply the signal with an exponential function of time, it is equivalent to creating a shift in the frequency domain. So therefore Laplace transform of e raised to minus at f of t is equal to f of s plus a. Okay, so now look at the sign change. The sign change is opposite. Okay, here you see, if the power of the exponential function is negative, then the shift is positive. If the power of the exponential function is positive, then the shift is negative. Okay, that means Laplace transform of e raised to plus at f of t will become f of s minus a. Okay, you need to remember that. That is, in the time shifting property, shift in the time is the same shift in the the shift in the time is same as the power of the exponential function. But in the frequency shift, it's not like that. In the frequency shifting property, the power of the exponential function is opposite to that of the that of the shift in the frequency domain. Okay, so this is what you need to remember about frequency shifting property. Now I'll just prove to you the equation. So we know that the Laplace transform of f of t is equal to integral from 0 to infinity f of t e raised to minus st dt, right? So now I want to find the Laplace transform of e raised to minus at f of t. Okay, e raised to minus at f of t. This is nothing but integral from 0 to infinity. Replace f of t with e raised to minus at f of t. So it will become e raised to minus at f of t into e raised to minus st dt. Okay, I can combine these two exponential functions. So this will become integral from 0 to infinity f of t into e raised to minus a plus s into t dt. So therefore, which means that this equation is a function of a plus s. just like how we say this is f of s, right? This is equivalent to f of s, right? Which means it's a function of s, and s is over here. But look over here, this is a function of a plus s. So therefore this can be written as f of a plus s or f of s plus a. So this is how we write the equation. So therefore Laplace transform of e raised to minus 80 e raised to minus 80 f of t is f of s plus a, capital letter f of s plus a. Okay, see this equation is, since you know this property, now you can learn some new basic functions that you have not studied before. See, for example, let me, before going through that, see, you already know what is Laplace transform of e raised to minus 80, right? We have already derived it, right? You got it as 1 by s plus a, right? You got a 1 plus s plus a. But so how did you get this is, I'll just show you how. Okay, see how you got this is by deriving the actual formula, that is integral from 0 to infinity f of t e raised to minus st dt. There you substitute the value f of t as e raised to minus 80, and that's how you found this value. Okay, so now I'm going to prove this. I'm going to do the same problem again. Using this property. Okay, it's very simple. See, what is the meaning of f of s plus a? What is the difference between f of s and f of s plus a? What this is, that this is a shifting frequency domain, right? So that means wherever, if you see this e raised to minus a, that is what this property is actually saying. Wherever you see e raised to minus 80, wherever you see e raised to 5t or e raised to minus 3t or e raised to plus 4t, anywhere if you see an exponential function multiplied with the original signal, remember that you should apply nothing but the frequency shifting property. And how you apply the frequency shifting property is very simple. Simply replace s with s plus a. That means in the entire equation, wherever you saw s, replace that value of s with s plus a. That's all. So here you see the Laplace transform of e raised to minus 80 is 1 by s plus a. So you already know that the Laplace transform of 1. What is the Laplace transform of 1? The Laplace transform of 1 is 1 by s, right? The Laplace transform of 1 is 1 by s. So this is actually the Laplace transform of e raised to minus 80 into 1. Which means now f of t is equal to 1, right? F of t is equal to 1. So if f of t is equal to 1, and then this is 1 by s. So in that case, what is the Laplace transform of e raised to minus 80 into 1? E raised to minus 80 into 1. E raised to minus 80 into 1 is nothing but f of s plus a. That means replace every s with s plus a. So here only one s is over here at the denominator. So this is, replace that s with s plus a, and you will get 1 by s plus a. That is how you got this equation. See, I found this equation without actually without using the basic formula, right? Without using the basic Laplace formula, I found the value of e raised to minus 80. See, we can write like that. So similarly, so you see, I can find the Laplace transform of e raised to minus 80. Which one you want? Sine omega t. Okay. Now you can, this is also one basic formula which I have skipped earlier. So since now we know the frequency shifting property, now you can study this basic function. Okay. So I want to find the Laplace transform of e raised to minus 80 sine omega t. Okay. So and so we all know that the Laplace transform of sine omega t, right? The Laplace transform of sine omega t is what? It's nothing but omega by s square plus omega square, right? This is the Laplace transform of sine omega t. So in that case, the Laplace transform of e raised to minus 80 sine omega t is nothing but wherever you see s, replace s with s plus a. So which means only the only place where s is over here, that is s square, right? So this will become s plus a the whole square. Therefore, Laplace transform of e raised to minus 80 sine omega t is nothing but omega by s plus a the whole square plus omega square. Okay, now you understood, right? Suppose if you want to find the Laplace transform of e raised to at sine omega t, okay, the Laplace transform of e raised to at sine omega t, then here the power is positive, right? So therefore the shift must be negative. So here the equation will now become omega by s minus a the whole square plus omega square. See? So since now you know the frequency shifting property, you can now learn these basic formulas. Okay, just remember this formula. This is just to show you the what happens if the power is opposite. Okay, just remember this formula. Okay. Likewise, the Laplace transform of e raised to minus at cos omega t. Okay, what about this? Laplace transform of e raised to minus cos omega t. What is the Laplace transform of this? So we all know that the Laplace transform of cos omega t, right? The Laplace transform of cos omega t is given by s square plus omega square, right? This is the equation. So in that case, the Laplace transform of e raised to minus at cos omega t is nothing but, here like I said, replace every s with s plus a. So here this is why is s plus a? Because the power is negative, so it should be s plus a. So here where is s plus a? It's over here and over here. So this will become s plus a by s plus a the whole square plus omega square. See, this is another formula that you need to remember now. Okay, another basic formula which you need to remember. Likewise, now I can also find the Laplace transform of e raised to minus at hyperbolic sine function, sin h t. Okay, now you can find the Laplace transform of this. We already know the Laplace transform of sin h t omega t. This is omega t. Okay, omega t, sin h omega t. Okay, Laplace transform of sin h omega t is equal to Laplace transform of sin h omega t is equal to omega by s square minus omega square. Okay, so therefore the Laplace transform of e raised to minus at sin h omega t is simply replace every s with s plus a. Okay, it's e raised to minus 80. So since the power is negative, then the shift must be positive. So replace every s with s plus a. So this will become omega by s plus a the whole square minus omega square. This is the next formula that you need to remember. Okay, alright, this is one formula that you need to remember. And likewise, similarly, now you can find the Laplace transform of e raised to minus at cos h omega t. Okay, so we all know that the Laplace transform of cos h omega t is given by s square minus omega square, right? So in that case, the Laplace transform of e raised to minus at cos h omega t is given by replace every s with s plus a. So this will become s plus a. This s will become s plus a, and this s will also become s plus a the whole square minus omega square. So now you can use this equation also. So now these are the different equations that you need to study. Okay, so like this, now since the reason why I skipped this formula is because I can't explain this formula without applying the frequency shifting property. That's why. How do I know that we need to apply frequency shifting property? Because each of these functions are multiplied with an exponential function of time. So this is what I want to tell you. If you see an exponential function of time anywhere in the question, remember that you need to apply frequency shifting property. Okay, and also don't forget, if the power of the exponential function is positive, then the shift must be negative, and if the power of the exponential function is negative, then the shift must be positive. See here, in all my formulas, the power is expressed as negative. See, e raised to minus 80, e raised to minus 80, e raised to minus 80, e raised to minus 80. That is why all the values of s has been replaced with s plus a. Okay, that's it. The next next property is the time scaling property. So this property is used when you see any scaled version of time. Scaled version of time means if you see time t multiplied by any constants, then you are supposed to apply the time scaling property. Okay, look over here. If the Laplace transform of f of t is equal to f of s, then the Laplace transform of f of at, where a is a constant, the Laplace transform of f of at is equal to, see what happens over here, 1 by a into f of s by a, which means if you see any multiplication, all right, if you see any multiplication in time domain, then there is nothing but multiplying the frequency domain with 1 by a and then replacing every s with s by a. That is, first you need to multiply the entire domain with 1 by a, okay, and then wherever you see s, replace that s with s by a. That is what this time scaling property is telling us to do. So let's prove this. We all know that the Laplace transform of f of t, right? The Laplace transform of f of t is equal to integral from 0 to infinity f of t into e raised to minus st dt. Okay, so in that case the Laplace transform of f of at, right, this can be written as integral from 0 to infinity, and instead of f of t you replace it with f of at. So f of at into e raised to minus st dt. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to say let at is equal to x. At is equal to x. So therefore in that case then I can say that when t is equal to 0 comma x is equal to 0, when t is equal to infinity comma then x will become infinity. Okay, and then also I need to find the value of dt. So in that case I can say that dt is equal to dx by a, right? Just put this, it will become t is equal to x by a, so therefore dt is equal to dx by a. Now I can substitute this all over here. This will become the Laplace transform of f of at is equal to integral from 0 to infinity. So we have over here f of x into, right, why it is 0 to infinity? Because when t is equal to 0, x is equal to 0. When t is equal to infinity, x is equal to infinity. So if I integral from 0 to infinity f of x into e raised to, and we all know that e raised to minus st, but what is t? T is equal to x by a. So I can now say this is nothing but e raised to minus s into x by a, okay, into, and what is dt? Dt is dx by a. So dx by a, okay, a is a constant, so I can take it outside. So this will become 1 by a integral from 0 to infinity f of x into e raised to minus, I'm going to make a small change over here. I'm going to write like this, s by a into x dx. Okay, so what do you understand by this? This is nothing but another Laplace transform equation which is a function of s by a. Yeah, this is a Laplace transform. This is a function of s by a, because from a mathematics point of view, x and t are nothing but variables, right? Variables. So therefore, this is also Laplace transform. The only difference is that here you have Laplace transform. This is a function of s, right? This is nothing but a function of s. If this is a function of s, then this is a function of s by a. So therefore, I can say that this is nothing but 1 by a into f of s by a. Okay. So this is the time scaling property. Okay, now let's do some problems based on time scaling property. This is a very important property. Okay, see, let's do this question, that is if the Laplace transform of f of t is log of s plus 3 by s plus 1, then find the Laplace transform of f of 2t. Okay, that's a question. So we know that here the Laplace transform of f of t is equal to log of s plus 3 by s plus 1, right? So therefore the Laplace transform of f of 2t, the Laplace transform of f of 2t is equal to 1 by 2 into f of s by 2, right? This is the equation for the formula for Laplace transform in time scaling property, right? Here the value of a is equal to 2, so it will become Laplace transform f of 2t is equal to 1 by 2 into f of s by 2, right? So now what I'm going to do is this means that the Laplace transform of f of 2t is equal to 1 by 2 into, and here what is f of s by 2 means? This is f of s. That means replace every s with s by 2, because this is a function of s by 2. So this is a function of s, this is a function of s by 2. Therefore replace every s with s by 2. So it will become 1 by 2 into log of, this will become s by 2 plus 3 by s by 2 plus 1, which is nothing but 1 by 2 into log of, this is s plus 6 by 2 by s plus 2 by 2, which is again which is equal to 1 by 2 into log of s plus 6 by s plus 2. Okay, now let's do the second question. Second question, this is simple, right? So now second question is, find if the Laplace transform of f of t is equal to 2 by s cube e raised to minus s, then find the Laplace transform of f of 3t. Okay, so likewise the Laplace transform of f of t is equal to 2 by s cube e raised to minus s. Okay, we all know that the Laplace transform of f of at, right? The Laplace transform of f of at is equal to 1 by a f of s by a, right? So here the value of a is 3, right? 3. So they ask us to find the Laplace transform of f of 3t. So therefore the Laplace transform of f of 3t is equal to 1 by 3 f of s by 3. Okay, here what is f of s? This is f of s, right? This is equal to f of s, right? So which means this is nothing but 1 by 3 into, and then replace every s over here with s by 3. That's it. So this will become 2 by s by 3 the whole cube into e raised to minus s by 3. Okay, this can also be written as s cube by 27, right? This is nothing but s cube by 27, which is nothing but, let me see, this is 1 by 3 into 2 by s cube by 27. So by 27 means you can say this is multiplied with 27, or this will become 9. Okay, anyway, 27 into e raised to minus s by 3. So therefore this is nothing but 27 come over here. So 27 by 3 is 9, 9 into 2 is 18. So you have 18 by s cube into e raised to minus, this is s, okay, e raised to minus s by 3. This is your answer. See, very simple. You can see that without applying the basic Laplace transform equation, that is integral 0 to infinity e raised to f of t into e raised to minus st dt, without using that formula, I was able to find the Laplace transform by simply knowing both the properties as well as the basic equations. Okay.